The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of KSMQ Public Service Media Incorporated or its assigns.
Welcome to On Cue. I'm your host, Eric Olson. Beginning July 1st, Riverland Community College has a new president. Dr. Adenuga Adewalegun took the leadership spot, coming to us from Prairie State College in Illinois. We'll have a special in-depth conversation with him today. Tim Ruzek will also be joining me to talk about the Waterways Committee for Vision 2020. Stay tuned. On Cue is next.
From KSMQ Television in Austin, this is On Cue, connecting interesting issues and interesting people. On Cue.
Dr. Adenuga Adewalegun was the Vice President for Academic Affairs and Dean of Faculty for Prairie State College in Illinois. His bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees are in agricultural engineering, and he took the helm at Riverland on July 1st. He joins us today for a special in-depth discussion. Dr. Adewalegun, welcome, and it's an honor and privilege to have you here.
Thank you very much, Eric. I'm glad to be here.
We were talking just before we went on the air here, and you've met in about 3 days 30 or 40 people, having deliberate one-hour conversations with them from the Austin area, trying to get to know the area.
Yes, that's been quite enlightening. I really have appreciated the time that people have devoted to those conversations. They've been very honest, helping me to learn the lay of the land, so to say, so that I can hit the ground running. And so it's been smooth. I think it's been very, very wonderful, all the important things that I've heard so far.
What was your previous background? Was it an academic institution? I know the name of it, Prairie State. Yes.
My previous institution, where I was the VP of Academic Affairs and Dean of Faculty, is about the same size as Riverland. It's one single campus, though, and there, what we did was we had 4 vice presidents, and I was one of the 4 vice presidents. I was there for 4 years, but before then, I was a dean at a much larger institution, College of DuPage, also in Illinois, west suburbs of Chicago. That's Glen Ellyn. So there, I was the dean of Natural and Applied Sciences. So I supervised faculty curriculum in the sciences area. But my job at Prairie State College involved the curriculum design, hiring full-time faculty, making decisions about and recommendations about tenure. I was also in charge of the Student Success Center. I was in charge of the library in the sense that those people reported to me directly.
Wow, a real wide variety of experience. I'm sure that's what the search committee liked in your selection. What about from people on the outside? They know about higher education. One of the things they talk about, and you see a lot in the news, is online learning. You see some schools are all online, some not at all, some a little bit. What's your experience, or what's your thought about the different uses of technology in an educational setting, such as online distance learning classes?
Yeah. These days, we cannot hide from using technology. It is part and parcel of education. A lot of our students, they would decide what they want to take, where they want to take it. So if we don't take advantage of online learning and other forms of technology, podcasting, if we don't take advantage of that, then we may actually lose the edge. You might also have heard of MOOCs, that's Massive Open Online Course.
Massive Open Online
Courses.
Courses, MOOC.
Yes.
Okay,
MOOCs.
there's a new acronym, folks. We have a lot of government people on our show, so we have lots of acronyms people keep track at home.
Yeah.
No, that's a new one for me. What's that mean?
The idea is that you have some institutions, like maybe 4-year research institutions, they will put their online course, let's say American history, or they put philosophy 101. They put it right there online. So any students could take them You could have 2,000, 3,000 students enrolled in the course, and they just take the online courses and they go through the materials. They could take all that free of charge. Now, the catch is, in order to get a credit for it, you may have to pay something. But for now, you could get a lot of the content of a course, of certain courses online, just because some professors have put them online for free courseware share.
Is that a threat to other institutions?
It depends on how you look at it. Now, it's here to stay in the sense that students will take online courses. They prefer, in some cases, depending on their perhaps time, age, and work schedule, they may prefer to take courses late at night or early in the morning. So what I'm saying is that those MOOCs are out there. We're not going to get rid of them. But the smart thing to do for an institution is to see how we can capitalize on the MOOCs. For instance, can we, as a community college, for instance, be able to design a way to grant credits for students by doing maybe some prior learning experience, or they could do some way of testing them and confirming what their courses are involved in. So you have to have a way to do an assessment of learning such that students can now earn credit from some institution. It could be from Riverland, based on competencies that they've acquired. So now what we're talking about, we are no longer just sticking with the old paradigm. While you measure performance in terms of length of time you spend taking a course, but you measure performance based on the outcome, and then you build a portfolio. And it doesn't matter. I could say I can finish a 4-year degree in 3 years, and that would then be, that's me. On the other hand, somebody else may have to do it differently.
Sure.
So that's why we have to be inventive and creative.
And of course, that technology keeps changing all the time. So once you get something in place, it's bound to be, we see that in television all the time as the technology
changes.
But also Riverland is unique in our region in that they do have, it seems to me, programs where you have to be person to person. I mean, the law enforcement community program, learning, I mean, the nursing program, trucks, those are things that it would seem to me you have to be, together with somebody and learning person to person. Yes or not really?
Well, there are some programs, you're right, that you still have this individual one-on-one or maybe live instruction. Farm business management at Riverland, we still do that. We send our faculty to the farmers, and they actually do hands-on instruction. But they still use some kind of online, some kind of technology in teaching the farmers how to improve their businesses, how to keep records, how to measure their productivity, things like that. But there's still that one-on-one. And like you said, nursing may be one of that. And there are some skills that you still need the tactile part of it. For instance, if you are going to be a chemist, maybe you need to really know how to handle chemicals, how to mix them. Or if you're going to be a surgeon, you cannot just do all the practices online. You may have to also really do some live practice. So there are some programs that way. But what we want to understand is this. Technology is a utility. It's become a utility. We should all plan for it. We should all plan to embed the technology in academic instruction. We should all encourage our students to learn to use technology and not be afraid of it, because then it changes the dynamics of learning. It takes it away from maybe the sage on the stage to the facilitator of education materials.
The sage, wait a minute, the sage on the stage. Hey, my dad was a teacher for all kinds of years, Doc.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that one down too. That's not a pejorative term. Is that a negative term?
No,
No,
it's not. No,
I
it's
liked
actually,
it, though. Sorry to interrupt. That was good.
That's fine. That's fine.
And in the early going here, your first presidency, what do you hope to accomplish in the beginning months when you're here? Do you get to know, like you're operating a business, so getting to know the various cost centers, and is it more of a business indoctrination, the dollars and cents, or is it more academic? What will your first few months be like?
Good question. The first few months, of course, I have to do a lot of listening. I know I have quite a lot of experience in academic environment, but that's from a different culture. So what I need to know is learn more about the fabric of the institution that I'm in now, Riverland. And I've done some of that through these one-on-one meetings. I've come to really appreciate the passion that people have to work here. Many of them, for instance, have been students here. They are now maybe faculty, some are employed here. So there is a certain investment, this really deep commitment to the Riverland. But what would I do? Apart from listening, I've identified some priorities that I think are not only my ideas, but they are based on research and reports. For instance, we had the Noel Levitt's study where they looked at some of our enrollment pattern. We had a climate survey that the employees took. We also brought in the Minnesota State Colleges and University System office, hired a consultant to do some prep work for any new president coming in, so that I have all that information to inform me for the first few months. So here are some priorities that we want to do. We want to stabilize the academic leadership. We have a few people in interim position. We want to try and make sure that we assemble a team that feel permanent and that they're going to do work here permanently. So we would be looking at some positions that we need to fill. We will also need to do something with our enrollment, student services, for instance. I've heard that we lost some ground because we no longer have a dean of student services. So I've given the word that we should go ahead and hire somebody in that. In fact, that position, we're interviewing for that. Now, we are also planning a couple of retreats to see what we could do to align our academic programs appropriately. Maybe some may not be in the places where they ought to be. So we'll have that retreat coming up in July. We'll have a second retreat coming up which is for the supervisors, so that they can see what my expectations are, and they can also tell me their expectations. So that's about for the month of July. Of course, we're going to start planning for the return of faculty and students in August. About August the 22nd, 23rd, we're going to have the fall opening. So all that's going to be things we're going to plan. We're planning toward for the first few months.
I just want to let the viewers who may join us late know that we're speaking with Dr. Adenuga Adewalegun, the brand new president of Riverland Community College. You're watching On Cue here on KSMQ Public Television. Well, your background, sir, doctor, is in agricultural engineering. For the layperson, what does that mean?
Well, agricultural engineering, agriculture is part of the way we do things in the Midwest. So I think most people know that involves
right. That part I get.
Sharing.
The engineering part is what I'm not clear on.
Now, my background is to design the structures for handling agricultural products. For instance, you think of the storage bins. How do they stand up? What do you do to make sure that they withstand the loading and unloading pressures? What kind of foundations do you need to make them happen? And then if you're thinking about maybe housing for livestock, how do you design those? You have to take into consideration the airflow, the environmental consideration. You have to do that. So those are the engineering concerns in the agricultural and food industry. So now they call it, that specialty is now called agricultural and biological engineering. So what we do is look at the engineering challenges of operating a farm business or operating a food environment now, or a food business. Now, of course, what I'm saying in my case, I had the training in the structural part of it. But there are some people that their engineering background in agricultural engineering has to do with offshore machinery. The tractors, the combines, how you design them, how you operate them, and the planters. These days, all that has really been improved with technology. Some people are in the soil and water part of it, the dams that you build, the irrigation. That's also an engineering part of agriculture, rather than just the planting and the reaping that most of us think of when we think of agriculture.
Might we see an increase in program offerings with your passion for agriculture? And certainly it's an important business in our region. Albert Lee Select Foods, Hormel Foods, and all the farmers in the area. Is there a need for more classes, more education?
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that would be perhaps something that we'll look into, depending on what the industries in our area actually need. It may be that we need more people that would learn how to maintain the machinery we have, so we'll have to align our technical courses and our technical programs to do that. It may be that we're looking more into alternative energy. It could be that we'll be looking into even maybe genetic materials, genetically engineered food products. Now, those are some of the things. It depends on what the community really calls for, and our business owners.
Oh, that's fascinating. Have you already met with leaders of Hormel Foods?
I've met with a couple of the leaders in Hormel Foods, and I think there is great opportunities for us there. In fact, it seems like within the next 2 weeks, we're going to have some discussion, especially because of my background in agricultural engineering. Hormel Foods is interested in talking to me and see what we can do to partner educationally with them and bring that much more, I think, analysis and understanding to what we need to do to improve the economy and the vitality of our region.
It would seem to be a wonderful, wonderful combination with your skills.
Thank you.
You grew up in Nigeria,
yes,
born and raised.
Yes.
And came to the U.S. in what, 1980?
1983. 1983,
okay.
Yes.
And have you been back to your country?
I've been back.
Visit? Do you get back there?
Yeah, I've been back about 3 or 4 times.
It's in the news a lot.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Recently, it's been in the news. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the news that we hear about Nigeria recently has not been that great because of the infiltration of maybe Al-Qaeda in the northern part of Nigeria. But basically, the people of Nigeria, the average person in Nigeria, wants to make a living, work hard. They're very industrious, very studious. They make sure that the parents, for instance, they spend a whole lot of their income to make sure that their children get a good education. So on the average, the people there just want to live a happy and decent life.
And you're here, speaking of decent life, with your family, children. You found a place to live, I assume?
Yes. You see, this is one of the beauty of being able to come to the economy where there is freedom, there is free economy, there is free, you could actually do a whole lot in an economy like ours in the United States, where hard work and good discipline can make you become just as you don't suffer any undue disadvantage as long as you work hard and you have good guidance. And that's one of the things that actually moved me into education after practicing engineering for some time. Yeah.
What a wonderful career, and we're thrilled that you're here in Austin, serving Albert Lee and Owatonna, and welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And because you just started here, I want to get you on the record. You can come back anytime. I kid about that because presidents of the college tend to get very busy are very busy people, and you might not get back to talk to our audience, but you're welcome anytime. The door is always open.
I would love to be back.
Dr. Adenuga Adewale, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
On Cue. And we'll be right back with our Vision 2020 update when our program continues.
Queue up your own comments for On Cue and send them to us at onq@ksmq.org. On Cue's Vision 2020 segment is brought to you by Hormel Foundation, Games People Play, and Turtle Creek Estates.
And welcome back to On Cue. I'm Eric Olson. Time for our weekly 2020 Vision 2020 segment. Joining us this week, Mr. Tim Ruzek of the Waterways Committee. Welcome.
Thank you.
So what do you have cooking this summer for Waterways?
Well, we've had a busy month in last June here with the Cedar River Watershed District teaming up with Vision 2020 Waterways and to do a first time Waterways Appreciation Awareness Month at the library in Austin. And it featured a weekly evening presentation on a different waterways-related theme, and also had a noontime presentation of old historic photos of the Cedar River and East Side Lake here in town.
So is it your committee's idea and Vision 2020 that one of the first things we need to do when we talk about waterways is educate us about what are our waterways and why are they important?
Yeah, I do public outreach work for the Cedar River Watershed District, and then I volunteer on the Vision 2020 Waterways Committee. And so the Watershed District, since 2007 when it was formed, part of their goal has also been to educate the public on the waterways that we have here in town. We got the State Water Trail designation in 2012 for the Cedar River, and so a lot of that was based on its rich history. And so this is an effort, along with Vision 2020 Waterways, to try to educate the public on the status of the Cedar River, its water quality, but also educate them on its rich history and the great recreational opportunities on the river here in Austin and south of here.
What was the designation you mentioned?
The Minnesota Department of Natural Resources have a state water trail program. And so the Cedar River was the 33rd state water trail designated, and that was in 2012. So they help promote the river as a destination spot for canoeists and kayakers, and they also create brochures with a trail map highlighting all the different public areas and highlights along the river, and even some river mileage dots along the way, so you know how much river mileage you've covered.
A water trail, that's great.
Yeah.
What about water quality? Are there any long-term projects or ideas that Vision 2020 has as far as cleaning up the bodies of water in Austin that need some help?
Well, the Watershed District's doing a lot of that significant work in obtaining those major funds and doing those kind of projects for water quality. And a lot of those water quality projects in turn are related to flood reduction and the other major goal of the Watershed District. But Vision 2020 is doing a lot. Like my subcommittee, enhancing waterways to try to enhance the 3 dams we have here in town and adding more water access sites along the river, looking for ways just to improve and offer more recreational opportunities on the Cedar River and East Side Lake. But we're also looking at water recreation, and so that Plunging for Pink event last February, that was the subcommittee of Vision 2020 Waterways that put that on, and that was a tremendous success, and so they'll be looking to do that again this upcoming February.
So that's more not so much about water quality, but aesthetics. When you talked about the dam, do you mean like rebuilding the dams or something?
Illuminating them, adding park features. The Ramsey Dam this fall, looking to add a shoreline fishing platform, working with the DNR on that. Adding a water access site for canoes and kayaks at the Ramsey Dam. The 4th Avenue Dam, working with the DNR and the City of Austin to do water access ramps above and below the dam, and adding other park features. There's an old mill structure there at the 4th Avenue Northeast Dam that we're looking to improve on to make like an overlook area. It's right along a bike trail and a historic spot in the city as well. So looking to really touch that up and make it a real destination point for people.
Watch for Tim later this summer, because your group's going to be giving presentations around. Watch for it in the paper or the website maybe for more information.
Sure. It's cedarriverwd.org or our Facebook page, facebook.com/cedarriverwd. And there's all sorts of pictures on both websites, historic and current pictures. And we have a photo project now too, encouraging people. It's a Watershed District project with Vision 2020 Waterways to encourage people to get photos of themselves this year, enjoying or improving the waterways. And so hoping to get at least 220 people identified and pictured through that. And the 220 is a nod to the Vision 2020 effort. So it's been fun doing that already.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tim Ruzek from Embrace and Maintain Our Waterways Committee of Vision 2020. And that will do it for us this week. Hey, become a member of KSMQ Public Television. Help us fulfill our mission. We can use your contributions at any time. Please check our website, ksmq.org, and become a member. Thanks for watching.
On Cue is a production of KSMQ Television in Austin, nonprofit public television.